The year is 1944. The Allies are pushing through France, but for the tankers of the 3rd Armoured Division, every day is a gamble. Inside their M4 Shermans, nicknamed Ronson lighters for how easily they burn, fear is constant. Every sound could mean a hidden German gun or a Panther tank waiting to strike. The Sherman's armour is no match for the high-velocity shells of German tanks. One hit can turn the tank into a fiery tomb for its 5-man crew. Survival feels like luck, not skill. 19-year-old loaders crammed in the turret dread the crack of a German gun, knowing a shell can rip through them in an instant. Letters home are filled with bravado, but among themselves crews whisper about lost friends and the vulnerability of their machines. The official supply chain promises better tanks, but they're months away, time the men don't have. Waiting means more friends die in burning wrecks. Desperation pushes the crews toward a radical unauthorized idea. If the army won't save them, they'll have to save themselves. The will to survive becomes the spark for rebellion. American doctrine said Shermans weren't meant to fight tanks. They were for supporting infantry, not dueling Panthers and Tigers. But in Normandy, theory crumbled. Sherman crews faced German tanks constantly, often alone. The tank destroyers meant to help were rarely where they were needed. Panthers could destroy Shermans from over a mile away. The Sherman's gun barely scratched German armour. The men were ordered to attack, but every advance felt like suicide. For every German tank destroyed, several Shermans were lost. The gap between doctrine and reality was measured in lives. Crews grew cynical, losing faith in leadership and equipment. In this crucible of fear and frustration, the seeds of rebellion took root. If the army wouldn't give them a fighting chance, they'd have to build one. The answer didn't come from a lab. It came from the battlefield's wreckage. Mechanics saw opportunity in the hulks of destroyed German tanks. They began cutting armour plates from Panthers and Tigers, working by torchlight under threat of enemy fire. This salvaged steel became improvised armour for their own Shermans. Mechanics and welders, not armour specialists, measured and cut the plates to fit the most vulnerable spots. The goal: cover the front and turret sides where crews were most exposed. It was desperate, improvised and dangerous, but it was survival. They didn't wait for permission or perfect solutions. Each plate welded on was an act of defiance and hope. The sounds of cutting and welding became the soundtrack of survival. They weren't just repairing tanks, they were re-engineering them. Every new layer of German steel was a statement: we will not go quietly. Ingenuity, not bureaucracy, would keep them alive. These modifications broke every rule in the book. The army forbade unauthorized changes, fearing mechanical failure and logistical chaos. But on the front lines, survival trumped regulations. The modified tanks, dubbed expedient jumbos, were each unique, patched together from enemy steel. The effect was immediate. Crews felt safer, morale soared, and casualties dropped. The extra armour didn't make them invincible, but it gave them a fighting chance. The outlaw armourer's work saved lives and preserved experienced crews. Seeing the results, division leaders quietly approved the programme. Sometimes the best orders are the ones you write yourself. The expedient jumbo story is about more than steel. It's about mindset. When official solutions failed, these men took action, hardening both their tanks and their resolve. This principle applies far beyond war. In any crisis, waiting for help isn't always an option. Communities facing hurricanes board up windows and stockpile supplies. They build their own defences. In the digital world, individuals harden their security with strong passwords and two-factor authentication. The lesson? Don't wait for perfect solutions from distant authorities. Assess your vulnerabilities, use what you have, and adapt. Hardening your defences, whether steel, wood or code, turns you from a victim into a survivor. The act of taking ownership is empowering. The expedient jumbo is a timeless lesson in proactive survival. The men behind the expedient jumbos weren't famous. They were mechanics and welders, names lost to history. Their legacy lives on in the crews they saved and the experience they preserved. In brutal campaigns, a veteran crew was priceless. Losing them was a blow to the whole division. By making Shermans more survivable, these outlaw armourers kept the division's fighting spirit alive. Their story is a reminder. Innovation often comes from the bottom up. Those closest to the problem are best equipped to solve it. Their unauthorized work was a critique of a slow, rigid system. Sometimes the best R&D happens in a muddy field with a cutting torch. Celebrate the problem solvers and rule breakers who build better solutions when the system fails. Their quiet courage is a powerful legacy. The final lesson of the expedient jumbo is clear. Sometimes breaking the rules is the only moral choice. Systems can be slow and disconnected from reality. When rules threaten survival, they must be questioned. The mechanics chose loyalty to their comrades over blind obedience. This spirit of righteous disobedience drives progress when institutions fail. The Sherman crews didn't wait for the right tools, they made them. Their story is a testament to the power of taking action and rewriting your own fate. When the system fails, you have a choice. Follow the rules or build your own solution. The men of the 3rd Armoured Division chose courage, and their friends lived because of it.